First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Gary Gump, and I live here in Portsmouth. I'm the chairman of our Economic Development Committee's Sustainable Energy Subcommittee. About 5 or 6 years ago, part of our committee's effort continues to be to look at ways in which we can stimulate economic growth in our town and also to reduce the town's expenses. In probably the middle of the last decade, around 2005 or 6, alternative energy such as wind energy was beginning to get popular. In 2006, the Portsmouth Abbey here erected a smaller wind turbine generator, and we got the idea to take a look at whether or not we could do the same thing for our town, the goal being to offset our town's municipal electrical load. So we did a back-of-the-envelope analysis and got a lot of help from some folks that supported the Abbey turbine. And the results of that were that we felt encouraged to go apply for a grant from the Rhode Island Renewable Energy Program to get funding to do a full study. We did the study. The study came back and suggested that both the high school and the middle school sites would provide energy to meet about 2/3 to 3/4 of our town's municipal energy load. We were extremely fortunate in that the federal government had a program to stimulate renewable energy. It was called the Clean Renewable Energy Bond Fund, and we applied for it, and we used that funding to secure essentially a zero-interest long-term loan to purchase a turbine. So the town didn't have to make any investment from its current operating expenses or from a town bond. We proceeded through a series of meetings with the town and with the community. We invited everybody to comment about it. And over about a 3-year period, we went through the process of finding, contracting, and installing a turbine, and it came online in March of 2009. It's been online about 2.5 years, and so far it's delivering a real savings to our town in terms of reducing our overall town electric bill. How does it work and who takes care of it? Great questions. Well, essentially it works through sensing the wind direction, and when the wind is a certain speed, turning a blade which through a gear reduction box turns the turbine. The turbine itself turns the generator. The output of that is connected to National Grid, and it produces electricity. As to who takes care of it, our town assistant planner is essentially the turbine manager. He has a remote surveillance access to the machine. We have a contract with a operations and maintenance company over in Massachusetts that looks at it 24/7. If there's an issue or a problem, they either can help us resolve it locally, or they can send personnel down to support the turbine. And essentially, other than that, if there are major annual or semi-annual maintenance issues, our contractor covers that, and the maintenance company comes on site, schedules a shutdown, and performs the maintenance for the project. How are we doing so far? We've had the turbine up and operating for about 2.5 years, and how's it doing? Well, to take a kind of a broad look, I think a lot of the community, myself included, has just come to accept it on the skyline, and we drive down the street and sometimes never even look up. It's here, it's a part of our community. We've had, fortunately, a few, if any, real problems or concerns with the machine itself. It's operated pretty much as we expected it would. As far as the original financial forecasts, in the first year it was operating, we had projected about $220,000 worth of credit to the town in terms of offsetting some of our electric bills. And we actually exceeded that by a fair amount. Translating revenue into kilowatts of energy, this machine is a 1.5 megawatt generator, or 1,500 kilowatt generator. And to cut the math real short, when you multiply a 1,500 kW generator times 24 hours a day, times 7 days a week, times 365 days a year, it's supposed to make about 13.5 million kilowatt hours of energy if it operates at 100%. The wind here lets us operate at about 25%, so we produce somewhere around 3.5 to 4 million kilowatt hours of energy a year. The electric rate then multiplied times the kilowatt hours is what gives us the credit and the savings that we apply to our town's budget. And the first year I mentioned we exceeded our budget. The second year we were pretty close to the budget, even though we had a little bit of unexpected downtime due to a mechanical problem. And in this third year, our performance is going to meet the budget, but the overall budget is reduced a bit because the price of electricity that we all pay has been reduced. Many of you know natural gas is a primary driver for electrical power. If you don't know what it is, here in New England, and natural gas futures have dropped, so correspondingly electrical rates have dropped, so the amount of compensation we're getting per kilowatt hour has dropped. It's still more than enough to pay for the note that we have to pay off, pay for our maintenance, and deliver positive savings to our town. So pretty much it's meeting its expectations, and it's been a good neighbor. Well, probably the most amazing thing is that we actually accomplished it. We have it up, it's operating, it's been operating for 2.5 years. It's performing about like we thought. It's being a good neighbor, and it's certainly putting Portsmouth on the map. So, you know, I mean, it's kind of like, gee whiz, how did we do that? So that's pretty amazing. But some other parts of it are, as you can imagine, the turbine generates energy when the wind's blowing. When the wind is really blowing may not be the time when you most need energy. So one of the things that's become obvious over time to us is all renewable energy, whether it's water power or hydropower like streams and dams, or solar power, or wind power, or even gas from large dumps. It's all variable. It doesn't come all the time. That's one of the reasons that we have to have a large traditional power base out there to give us the stability. So one of the things that would serve to make the process better all the way around would be some way to store energy. So one of the yet to be identified ways, pieces of the puzzle, is how can we store large amounts of energy when the conditions are right through renewable resources to produce the energy, but the demand is not there. Right now we can't do that, and that's probably one of the things that's been brought home most dramatically to all of us is how do we overcome that? You know, we want to reduce the amount of coal we consume, we want to reduce the amount of pollutions we put in the air, and we can do a lot of that with renewable energy, but we can't eliminate it completely until we can come up with a way to store energy. So that's probably one of the most obvious issues that we still need to resolve before we really have a comprehensive program.